Next, let's close this segment with neuromodulation. In both spinal cord stim and DBS, we've revitalized the businesses and are very much on the offensive. Dave Anderson, our president of Neuromod, can tell you more. Dave?
Thanks, Jeff. In the diseases we treat in neuromodulation, we created the therapies that have alleviated pain, restored health, and extended life in millions of patients. And whether it's deep brain stimulation, spinal cord stimulation, targeted drug delivery, or interventional pain therapies, we were the first movers. We were the innovators in our space. And over the past few years, these products have generated about $1.5 billion in annual revenues for Medtronic. And they're in markets that collectively are several billion. But they weren't growing, and we were losing share. But now as we stand here today, all that is changing. After a period of significant reinvestment, we're poised to grow. And through a combination of internal investment and external development, we're leapfrogging the competition, and we're reestablishing our technological leadership in each of these businesses. We're going on the offensive now, with innovation that's launching backed by clinical evidence like never before, and a robust pipeline of product developments that we expect will sustain that technology leadership for years to come. Today, I'll highlight two transformational innovations: BrainSense in deep brain stimulation and DTM in spinal cord stimulation, that are just beginning to unlock a long runway of value. So let's begin with BrainSense. In the treatment of movement disorders, sensing brain signals is the key to therapy optimization, so that physicians know exactly where and how to target the therapy. And now we're directly on the path to closed-loop therapy with our BrainSense technology, which will be a real game changer for our clinicians. Our Percept DBS system with BrainSense technology received CE mark earlier this year and FDA approval this summer. And the launches are off to a great start, despite the pandemic. Percept is the only commercially available DBS product on the market that senses brain signals, ushering in a new era of personalized DBS therapy. Our competitors are not even close. Not only that, but Percept PC is the most advanced neurostimulator platform that is 3T MR conditional, has a smart battery, and intuitive engaging programming. More importantly, we've been on this brain sensing journey for more than a decade now, and we'll continue to innovate and offer differentiated solutions as we work towards demonstrating the superiority of closed-loop therapy. To date, patient and physician reaction to Percept has been incredibly positive, exceeding even our expectations. And while these features, such as directional leads, can be valuable, we're going to bring those to market too next year. But when it comes to features that really drive purchase decisions, nothing can compete with BrainSense. Ultimately, it's about the therapy that Percept with BrainSense delivers for our patients and the impact that will have on their lives. The neurology community, clinicians, patients, their caregivers, advocacy groups, everyone's excited about these advancements and how they'll help manage the most difficult symptoms related to movement disorders. With Percept, patients can now capture their symptoms or activities through a digital diary, which will simultaneously be recording their brain state to provide clinicians with those critical insights to patients while they're outside their clinic. I'd like to introduce Dr. Mark Richardson, a neurosurgeon and the director of functional neurosurgery at Massachusetts General Hospital, to talk more about our Percept platform.
Having a window into brain activity during DBS, I think this is something that is potentially really, really important for patients. We already have access to their brain waves, and we're going to exercise personalized medicine.
Thanks, Dr. Richardson. Sensing brain signals is just the first step. And as you can see, we're on a path to transform DBS therapy with the goal of creating that closed-loop system, adjusting therapy based on real-time sensing of brain signals. We're preparing to bring the first and only adaptive DBS system to market, with product development well underway and clinical trials set to begin in January of next year. I've asked Abhi Kulkarni, the head of Medtronic's Neuromodulation Technology Development Center, to share more about our vision for adaptive DBS. Abhi?
Thanks, Dave. So our vision is that adaptive DBS will deliver personalized and optimal neurostimulation therapy, deliver stimulation when the patient needs it, and only as much of it that they need, automatically. So for example, consider Parkinson's disease and its symptoms. These are episodic symptoms. They typically fluctuate through the day. And accordingly, the patient's need for stimulation also varies. When the patients are experiencing symptoms, they need stimulation. However, when they are asymptomatic, they have no need for stimulation. Now, recent studies investigating Parkinson's disease-related phenomenon have shown a correlation between brain signals recorded from patients suffering from Parkinson's disease with the symptoms such as akinesia and rigidity that they may be experiencing. So these signals are now akin to a symptom monitor. The brain signal levels increase and decrease as patients' symptoms increase and decrease. Adaptive DBS algorithms will automatically and in real time adjust stimulation being delivered to patients based on these brain signals. Patients will receive more stimulation when their symptoms flare up and less stimulation when they wane. Our goal is that this powerful feature will have several potential advantages. It could potentially save battery life, making devices last longer. Side effects could be reduced since stimulation is only being delivered when the patients need it. Now, this is what we mean by closing the loop, taking direct feedback from the patient's brain and using it to fine-tune the therapy. The therapy would be delivered automatically and on demand, depending on the patient's need. We believe that adaptive DBS is the optimal way to deliver therapy to patients, and we believe that it will change DBS therapy forever.
Thanks, Abhi. In short, BrainSense is going to transform deep brain stimulation while establishing a new standard of care, and Medtronic is at the forefront. And we're not stopping there. That competitive spirit and innovative technology expands also to our spinal cord stimulation platforms as well, because back pain remains a huge problem worldwide. In the US alone, more than 100 million Americans experience chronic pain lasting longer than 3 months, costing the nation more than $500 billion annually in direct medical treatment and lost productivity. Pain affects more Americans and is costlier than diabetes, heart disease, cancer. And Medtronic pioneered spinal cord stimulation therapy more than 40 years ago and continues its strong commitment to advance the field. Our recent acquisition of Stimgenics and then the launch of differential target multiplexed, or DTM, is a SCS therapy uniquely grounded in science, preclinical and clinical research, and proven to deliver superior pain relief on the Medtronic Intellis SCS system. To describe DTM in more detail, here is Dr. Ricardo Vallejo, pain physician and director of research at National Spine and Pain Centers and the inventor of the DTM SCS therapy.
As a pain physician and scientist, I've seen spinal cord stimulation rising in its importance to treat chronic intractable pain, which affects over 100 million people in the US alone. DTM spinal cord stimulation is a unique and important new algorithm rooted in preclinical science that began with behavioral and molecular studies in animal research over a decade ago. DTM may engage a novel mechanism that electrically modulates neurons and glial cells, modifying their interaction and normalizing their biological processes and interrupting the chronic pain cascade. Preclinical studies showed that DTM achieved a statistically significant reversal of pain behavior, but also significant reversal of molecular changes related to this neuroglial interaction over either low or high-frequency spinal cord stimulation. DTM SCS is now translated into the clinical setting with a level 1 randomized controlled trial demonstrating superior pain relief compared to conventional stimulation at 3 months. The 12-month results will be released later in October, and I look forward for DTM SCS helping many of those suffering with chronic pain.
We're showing you here the 3-month data from our randomized control trial that was presented for the first time at NANS back in January. This data showed that DTM had superior back pain relief compared to conventional SCS therapy. We found that 80% of patients responded to the DTM SCS therapy compared to only 51% for conventional stim. And most importantly, 63% of patients showed profound back pain relief, which means an 80% or greater reduction in pain, compared with just 28% for conventional stimulation. I'm pleased to announce today that we have completed the 12-month follow-up, and they are among the best back pain results in a randomized control trial that Medtronic has seen in SCS for the treatment of chronic back pain. The data will be announced next Monday at the Medtronic Global Collaboration of Societies with Aspen, NANS, and World Institute of Pain. Adoption of DTM SCS to date has been very strong. Despite the disruption of the launch by the pandemic, we gained new implant share last quarter and have observed robust DTM trial and implant adoption in the U.S. across all customer segments. The most notable of which are competitive accounts. In fact, we're excited to see that accounts where we've launched DTM are growing faster than even pre-COVID levels. And this is only the beginning of this therapy. We see a significant opportunity to expand the SCS market in the future to include surgical naive chronic back and leg pain, upper limb and neck chronic pain, and painful diabetic neuropathy. These indications would more than double the size of the existing market, which is in itself today underpenetrated. Medtronic is already investing in 3 RCTs to demonstrate the effectiveness of DTM therapy across these indications. And we're also developing a comprehensive approach to develop therapy to treat painful diabetic neuropathy with an RCT planned for next year. With improved outcomes and pursuit of new indications, we see spinal cord stimulation as a significant growth engine over the next several years. DTM SCS therapy is rooted in science, demonstrated in preclinical research and clinical trials, and proven only on Medtronic's Intellis neurostimulator. Intellis is the smallest spinal cord stimulator on the market, provides full body MRI access unlike other competing SCS systems, and in addition, because of Medtronic's proprietary overdrive battery technology, with 1 hour empty to full charge times and less than 5% fade at 9 years, we're able to offer an industry-leading 9-year warranty. And for the future, just like in DBS, we're working to bring closed-loop therapy to spinal cord stimulation as well. Let's hear from a patient who has experienced the benefit of Medtronic SCS therapy.
Before I had the stim unit implanted, I was always at like a 12 or a 13 on the 1 to 10 pain scale. After it was implanted, I was at a 2 to 3, sometimes a 4 on the worst. Now that I have the stim unit implanted, I don't take any medications anymore.
These therapies have a profound impact on patients. As we look ahead, BrainSense and DTM, they're just 2 examples of differentiating innovations that we're using to retake that pole position in these growing markets. And we're doing so with the scientific foundation always. Neuromodulation at Medtronic is back to win with innovation and evidence like never before. Back to you, Jeff.
Okay, thanks, Dave. It's great to see the significant investment that we've made in pain stim and DBS is starting to pay off. We have a really strong runway in front of us in both of these markets and a great opportunity to drive growth and win share. I hope that these 8 businesses gave you a greater appreciation for how we're accelerating growth and for how we're going on the offensive and winning share.